Good afternoon. Well, I'm at a point of no return on this cab mount situation on my truck. I'm going to have to either drill a hole in the top, in the floor for the captive nut, if the bolt don't come out. Because I went and loosened up the bolt. I just wanted to try it, and it moves like this. The captive nut is moving, but it's not spinning around. I'm hoping I can get them out. If not, I gotta rent a 2-inch hole saw and drill down through so I can put a wrench on the top nut. So I'll show you what it looks like right now. Okay, I don't probably need to put the light on this, but she moves up and down, and I'm able to turn it. But you hear that in there? That's one of my worst fears. The only thing worse than that is if it completely spins around. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to go and rent. I can't afford to buy a metal hole saw for one-time use, but I might be able to rent one. Only needs to be probably 2-inch in diameter so I can get a socket down in there. If I take this here, what I'm going to try to do though, since this is loose anyways, I'm going to try to take this out with a ratchet. But in order to do that, I got to keep this from going up. So I'm going to take my pickle fork. You know what a pickle fork is, those of you guys that work on front ends. Take a pickle fork and jam it in there to hold this thing down, because it moves in, and I don't want that thing to come out of the nut and lose the nut altogether. I'm going to try to get this bolt right out altogether. It's 3/4 inch head, so I'm estimating the shank must be about a 1/2 inch in diameter, even though a 5/8 wrench fit on it because it's got so much rust anyways. So I'm going to get my pickle fork. I'll be right back. Sorry about the lighting, but I can't put a light on that because the light won't stand up. But I'll temporarily put the light on until I start working with this. This is the pickle fork, by the way. This takes tie rod ends off. I got a big one that does ball joints. But what I'm going to try to do, if I can't get the pickle fork in here, I'll use a vice grip or something. What I need to do is just hold this from coming down. I can put my ratchet on there. Going up, I should say. It's turning very hard. I didn't want to put any penetrating in there because I can't get it up in there anyways because the rubber's in the way. So she's moving all right. She's got a lot of rust on the treads because I can feel it. Need 3 hands, one to hold the pickle fork. And the damn pickle fork keeps sliding out. I did not want to do it this way. I wanted to wedge it in there, but it would have come loose when I tried to tap in the homemade washers, which I'll show you the material I got for that. Anyway, so I'm just starting the job today because we're supposed to get some heavy rain tomorrow and the rest of the week, so I'm going to be without a cab mount on this side, I think. Now, so far, the nut is being held in place. But like it or not, I'm 99% sure I'm going to have to go through the floor of the cab and rent a metal cutting hole saw. Shouldn't cost me too much. My local hardware store, he has all that kind of stuff for rent. Now, so alright, we'll come back on this video. This is HD, so it's going to be hard to, file size is too big, but we use live Windows Movie Maker, so we may be able to edit these. Now, I'm holding the camera here, so you can see that I've got it down quite a bit here. Very hard to, you can see that. You can hear it captive up there, but it's loose. In other words, it nut may be as loose as a goose, and I might not be able to get a new bolt into that nut. Well, worst case scenario is I'll have to just cut that hole in the top and rent that hole saw, but I'm not going to attempt that until we get some nice weather now today. But I physically cannot do this job today. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon right now, and you know, when you don't have a garage and you're working outside, you're at the mercy of Mother Nature. But what I want to do, then, I can do this right. I can use that thick rubber that I showed you, in addition to the homemade washers, and I figured to put a garden hose or something around the bolt and shove it in, so that'll keep the bolt from rubbing against this hole here. I don't know the size of this hole yet. I don't want to take everything all out. I just want to get this bolt out so I can find out. It's probably a standard 1/2-inch coarse thread bolt. So we'll finish working on that off camera here. Well, I soaked it with PB Blaster. I really didn't want to do that because that will destroy what little rubber I got up in there. It's all going to come out anyhow. But originally that top piece, as I showed you in an earlier video, is intact. But if I have to take this bolt out, I can gently jack up this part of the cab and get it in there. One of the guys suggested in an earlier video on my cab mounts, the first video I think that I put up a few months ago, so after you get the bolt out, you can take a small drill and go right up through there and hit the bottom of the floor, and then you know where to drill the hole from the top side, which is good if I can get this bolt out. But I won't have to jack this cab up all that much. I'll show you. Somebody suggested that the cab is a little lower, well, maybe not even a 1/4 inch lower on the pinstripes here. Let me look down here and here and here. Yeah, maybe about not even a 1/4 inch, I'd say an 1/8 inch. So I don't want to disturb anything. I didn't touch the other side because I wanted, you know, until I get everything that I need to work with. And I'm going to try to move that a little more here. I get the flashlight on a little bit of an angle here. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that thing out because there's an awful lot of resistance. There must be a lot of rust on there, and I did rock it. I did rock it in and out, so I'm going to turn the ratchet the other way. I got the pickle fork just laying in the, well, it was laying there. Trying to tighten it and then loosen it, tighten it and loosen it. Try to get the threads cleaned off. Now we'll go try to loosen it. You must have a bunch of rust on the end of the threads on this bolt. What I fear is the nut will just spin around and whatever it's captured in, probably a little metal tray or something in there, which is probably spot welded in that enclosed channel. And the only way you're going to get at this top nut is to cut that hole in the floor, as I said. So folks, I'm going to give you this video. It's getting easier. I'm going to give you this video, and you can see that I started the job and I'm at a point of no return now. Oh, she's going easy now. I think maybe, just maybe, damn pickle fork would stay in. I really need somebody to hold that pickle. And you guys want to come and hold this pickle fork in here for me? It's going to fall down and hit me in the head here. Once I don't have my head right under it. Man, it takes a lot of treads on this sucker. So that's it, huh? There she is, that's it. It's got a point on the damn thing. Isn't that something? How the hell am I going to get a bolt with a point on it? I'm going to check this bolt out. Come back on the video in a minute. Yeah, that looks like 1/2 inch. This is where I was putting my wrench. I said it's 5/8. I knew it was built up with rust. Now, I'm going to check, see what I got for bolts, but I think I'm going to have to go and get a bolt. But I can stick this back in, and what I'm going to probably do is temporarily put something in here, just to hold things together. Holding things together ain't an easy thing to do. When it comes... No, you don't want to hear me sing. Anyways, okay. So, let me get back. Let me try to clean this off with a wire brush or something. We'll do that off camera. Alright, I put this in a vise. I just put this masking tape on there to protect the threads, so I don't mess up the threads on the bolt. Okay, I cleaned it off, but it's got a lot, it's still got crap in there. You can see where I gotta still do more. But I'm not going to probably use this bolt anyways. But temporarily, yeah. Now, what I'm going to do when I get the new bolt, I'm going to stick a piece of garden hose up the shaft. Yes, we're going to... I'll get it back in the camera here. We're going to put garden hose on the shaft. And that will keep this bolt from hitting the frame mount where this thing goes through. And then that rubber that I got will cut a hole big enough to accept the garden hose rather than just cutting a hole big enough to accept this. Because the rubber is going to be on the top, and of course it'll probably be on the bottom too. But temporarily, what I'm going to do now is see if I can get this, after I clean this thread off here with the wire brush, oil it, and I'm going to try to put it up in there and tighten it down and shove something in here temporary. I'm not going to use any of that rubber now. I'll just put some washers in there just to hold the holding things together. Alright, I chiseled as much of this off as I could. This is probably the old washer, the bottom washer here. I don't going to worry too much about it because I'm not going to use this bolt permanently. I'm just going to stick it back in. Interesting though, it has little grooves on the taper part here. Not sure what that means, but it's probably so that they're able to squeeze the end in like that and make it pointed. It makes it easier to go in. Now I wire brushed all this down, and I just got to put some oil on this to get this to go up in there good. And temporarily we'll put a washer up in here, and we'll just fasten it together with some washers right now just to keep things together until I can get the right bolt for that. And I gotta look and see if I got any 1/2 inch bolts so I can try a nut on here. I'm pretty sure that's 1/2 inch. I know that's not 3/8, but I'll check. Pretty sure that's 1/2 inch. The head is 3/4. Takes a 3/4 socket. You can't go by this flange because this is the old washer here, and that is all. I filed it off. It's still sharp. All right. Temporarily, I'm going to stick these two washers on, and I got some 1/4 inch thick rubber washers. They got small holes in them. I hate to waste them because they could be used for other things. I'm a collector of all kinds of odds and ends, and then you never know when you're going to need them. So we're going to slide them on there. That should take up the gap that I need, which was altogether about 3/4 inch. These rubbers will go up against the rubber that's on the frame mount, the bottom part, where I was going to put that other rubber I showed you. This is a temporary fix for now. We get several days of good weather. Being that I'm working outside, I usually can't do these jobs in one day. Yep, this is a 1/2 inch bolt. That's what I kind of thought. I'm going to take a 1/2 inch drill, ream these holes out bigger, and a piece of old belt. We'll cut that off and we'll drill a hole in it. Add that to it. This is all temporary, just to hold the thing and snug it up a little bit. Okay. That definitely should do it. Should be able to get that up in there, but I'm going to oil this first, and then we'll go over to the truck and see if I can get this thing in there. Hopefully I can get it into that captive nut that's moving around up in there. If I can't, well, we're going to have no cab mount on that side. At least wise no bolt for it anyhow. Okay, I don't know if it's in camera view or not. I think it is. This is going to be the hard part. This is temporary if this does hold. It'd be nice if this does hold. I can get the right size bolt. It looks like a standard, except for the taper on the point. You know, on the point of the bolt, it looks like a standard bolt. Might even be able to use this bolt. Anyways, but what I'm going to do is get 2 new bolts. Taking any chances. Just check that. Put the light on that. That don't look too bad. That don't look too shabby. Let's see. But she needs to be drawn in a little more. Don't need to go crazy with it, but we do want to, yeah, it's squeezing out the rubber. That's it. Okay, now there she be for now. For now, that's good enough. We got to get some more material and so forth. If I can get the other bolt out on the other side, I won't need to probably use the windshield polyurethane, or urethane I should say, and I'll probably just be able to use the rubber that I got.